Devotion, empty notion.
Okay, we're doing a little bit of cycle touring on our holiday in Bali. There's two islands just off the coast of Bali. They're about half an hour or 1 hour by fast boat to get to. And there's no cars. There's some trucks that are used as taxis and lots of scooters. Of the two islands, the second island over really has hardly any traffic at all because they've got to go across this small suspension bridge, which was shown in the video. And the other one has very little traffic. So they're great places to ride. So we hired some bicycles for $3.50 per day, and we're on here for about a week, and we're just having a great time. You know, we're not. If you rode right around the islands, both of them, you'd be hard pressed to do like 12 kilometers, but it's still fun to get back on the bikes. And everything's beautiful, beautiful, and the water's clear. There's surf, there's flat beaches, and the accommodation's very reasonably priced, and people are very friendly.
The city, but I am tired of the same people, of the same things. I want to escape now to another place now, but with you, 'cause I don't want to be alone. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy. Tell me if you want to follow me now, to follow me. Take me to your arms and never leave me. Don't leave me, boy.
We have arrived, and the location that they told us the boat would arrive was actually different from the location where it actually arrives. So we booked a hotel further up the coast, and we're just going to walk along the beach. There's Charlie, he's loving it. Loving it, aren't you?
Shouldn't trust PJ.
Poor Charlie.
About 7,000 people live on Nusa Lembongan year-round.
Hello, we're in the small island at the moment just off Bali. So that's not too small, it's pretty big actually. It's called Nusa Lembongan or something like that.
Nusa Lembongan.
Nusa Lembongan. Anyway, it's really nice. We're staying at a place, we're about 50 feet from the water. It's really quiet, except for all the roosters, which I kind of like, and the bird life. And you know, it's just lovely. It's quiet, and it's a lot quieter than Bali, put it that way. Well, that's what it seems on first impressions. Anyway, we're just getting ready to go to the beach, and it's a white sandy beach here, and it doesn't look as crowded as the Bali beaches, which are kind of brown. So we're really looking forward to it.
Graceful. How's that healthy eating kick going, Charlie?
It's pretty good. I mean, if you don't want to eat the vegan cake, I've got
Yeah, probably will. You know, we're only human, so it all looks pretty delicious actually. The food is pretty good. And we finally found tempeh, which is good. Yeah, and there is no Coke, zero Pepsi Max or Diet Coke on this island, so prepare yourself for withdrawals if you're addicted.
Okay, we're on the beach and we're waiting for the sunset. It's very romantic. This is right where the boat dropped us off the other day. So it's really happening. There's a lot more people here now. It's getting towards sunset than there has been during the day. The water's a bit cold at this time of the year. It doesn't really make you want to get into it, which is surprising, I think, because I thought it would never be too cold to get into. And it's just really happening, and really very young crowd. Like, everybody here makes me feel quite old, but there are still a few scatterings of us generics around.
Geriatrics. What about the village? Is it clean? Is it dirty? What is it?
Very clean. We haven't seen a single bit of rubbish on the beach at all. And all the village is like it's swept, right? And there's hardly any cars. Well, we haven't seen any cars actually. It's just scooters, and like these scooters that have been turned into buses where you can just sort of jump on the back. And other than that, it's just very, very clean. And it's a little bit more expensive than Bali, but obviously that makes sense because they're going to bring everything over by boat. But it's not much more expensive, and I think it's nicer. I think it's definitely nicer than Kuta.
My first impressions are basically that people here seem to be very welcoming of tourists. They have strong faith, and their own cultural identity seems to be still very well preserved. The other thing that's happened since COVID here is that the previous tradition of seaweed farming has been renewed and rejuvenated. So there's lots of seaweed farms. You'll see people drying seaweed on the side of the street. There are seaweed options in the smoothies, and it's really different actually. That makes it quite different to the mainland of Bali, and I believe some of the other islands further out have done this as well. So that's it for my first impressions. Oh, one more thing, and I'm really hoping we can hire a bicycle tomorrow. We're either going to get a bus or a bicycle to explore the island tomorrow, so we'll just see. I'm going to try and get the local bus with Charles, but I'd rather go on bicycles. Are you freezing?
It's a bit cold here. It's a bit cold here.
Oh.
I think PJ's just tricking us.
I'm not tricking us.
Yeah, PJ's like saying it's not cold, but I think it's coldy.
I'm usually the one that freaks out about the cold, and I think it's fine.
It's the morning of the second day on the island, and we're relocating to the other side of the island, which is about 4 kilometres away. We could catch a taxi, which would probably make a perfect sense, but Penelope, the Kraken, has decided we need exercise, so we're hiring bikes. So we're paying about $3.50 per bike per day, and we rented them for 7 days. And we'll ride off today. Hopefully we'll be able to get to the other side of the island in 7 days, the 3.8 kilometres. But we're actually hoping, because we're wildly optimistic, to get there this morning. So we've rented a place over there tonight. Hopefully it's got sea views and it's got a pool and everything, and it looks really nice. So we're looking forward to that. Today's started a bit overcast. It feels like there's a bit of rain in the air. So we'll probably not only have to ride, but we'll probably get wet as well. It's going to be a great decision. Okay.
Ready to go, are we? And I've got the bike with the pannier rack, so I'm carrying all the luggage. There's Charlie. And there's seats. Inside. And a little shower room.
Now that tourism has returned, locals are having to balance their existing seaweed production commitments with lots of opportunities in the tourism sector. It's causing some very long days for the locals we spoke to. still you can feel this excited, positive vibe that things are getting better every week.
Hopefully you can hear this. It's pretty much nothing. It's so quiet here. The farmers, the seaweed farmers use hand-propelled methods to maneuver their boats, so there's no engine noise. There are roosters crowing, there are a couple of scooters here and there, but it is so very peaceful. You really should come here if you're thinking about it. It's lovely. Charlie's stuck back at the hotel doing some admin, so he's missed out. And Mangroves, what more could you ask? This is an absolute tropical paradise. But we're going to explore some of the more famous scenic spots shortly.
Okay, we're at our accommodation, which is lovely and has beautiful views, as you can see at the back. But we, in the pursuit of like seeing everything, we're off to a place called Dream Beach. Hopefully it'll be dreamy. The Kraken's going there as well, and we're going to take our bikes, and I'm sure she'll flog me if I slow down, because that's the way she rolls. She rolls fast.
Charlie says we're not lost, we just have to go down this little thing. Since when has Google Maps ever sent us astray?
Well, it's the crack of dawn. We've had breakfast. It's like 10 o'clock, so it's the crack of dawn for the Kraken. So now she's all enthused, and we're going to go out riding, and we're heading off to the Devil's Tears and maybe a place called Dead Pool. So there's a bit of a theme going on there. So I don't know what she's got in store for me, but I'm looking forward to it.
I was just about to correct him and say, like, it's not 10 o'clock, but it is kind of 20 past 9, so I guess we did delay our departure. We got a little bit lost yesterday, and I'm optimistic that today we won't get as lost, but it's all part of the adventure. And the weather looks pretty good. Hopefully we don't get rained on.
So we're going to Mushroom Beach.
Going to Mushroom Beach, change your plans.
The beach here is not like the one down where we got dropped off. Where we got dropped off, there was a lot of coral in the water, and it was kind of uncomfortable to walk around in. Here it's all beautiful and sand, like haven't stepped on a single rock. So, you know, if you want to go to the beach, this seems like the goer.
We went to Devil's Tears on a calm day. On a rough day, it's apparently extremely dramatic.
Alright, so we bought an ice cream and a drink, and the cost was about double what you'd usually expect to pay here. But the shops do seem to be run by locals. There's these tiny little shop fronts under a structure just beside the Devil's Tears.
And it's really nice here. It's really lovely. I wanted to dwell for a while here.
If you continue around the point from the Devil's Tears, you'll see Sandy Bay Beach. Super low tide, and you can see all the seaweed in the seaweed farms.
This is because PJ is nice to everybody except for me. The Kraken is nice to everybody except for me, and she's always nice to dog.
Good morning, little doggy.
This is the last day we're staying in this budget hotel, which has been very good. It's been like $13, $14 a night with breakfast, air conditioned, and really beautiful sea views. We're going to leave here today and we're going to cycle across the Yellow Bridge, which is really cool. And it's a suspension bridge that runs between the two islands. And when we get over the other side, we're going where we went for dinner last night for breakfast, lunch, or brunch sort of thing. Because it was so good. The food was fantastic. It was like the next level up. Like, it was awesome. And then we're going to leave there and go to our hotel for tonight, which we're hoping is going to be awesome. It's more expensive than where we've been staying up to now, and it looks like it's kind of a traditional sort of dwelling with the thatched roof and all that right on the water. So we're really looking forward. We're hoping it's going to be awesome.
Charlie rode over, but I'm a wuss, so I'm walking. It's not very high up and it's really cool. It's a suspension bridge, but it doesn't move very much. There are no cars on this or trucks, just scooters and crazy pedestrians and cyclists. Had lunch, now we're off to the new hotel.
Take
Okay, workplace health and safety really hasn't got very far here. If you go down to the restaurant just down the road, there's just a point where you can just jump off it, and it seems like it's encouraged. It's a fall of 10 meters into the water. While we were there, 2 girls jumped off and immediately got smashed into the cliff, and it's low tide. How they didn't kill themselves is beyond me. And then they throw in a rubber tire, but they're all banged up. So, you know, while I think, you know, we're a bit of a nanny state in Australia, I really think that it's not that bad. It's not bad. One could almost say it's great. There's PJ sitting over there enjoying the view.
So we decided to stay one extra night, and we're moving huts.
Wouldn't you just love to live in a cool place like this, even if it was just for a couple of months?
All the colours.
Okay, right now we're on our way back to Mushroom Bay. We're going to be on a cliff tonight overlooking the water. One thing is, almost everywhere here they call it Mushroom Bay, so that's one interesting. It's very confusing. Things here are a little bit more expensive than the mainland on Bali, and this is the reason why. Everything comes over in these little boats and is unloaded, and I assume on the other side loaded by hand through the water. So I don't begrudge it being a bit more expensive, because you look at the work, the back-breaking work that the locals are doing to get the food over here.
We're not lost, we're just checking that we're going the right way.
Okay, even after the pandemic, there's lots and lots of places that are closed, but alongside that there's lots of optimism because there's lots of new places being built, such as the one right here. It's right on a point overlooking the ocean. It's going to be beautiful. But it's kind of weird that there's heaps of closed ones and then they're building new ones right alongside the closed ones.
It don't matter where we go, it don't matter where we stay tonight, 'cause when I'm with you, yeah, I know everything will be alright. It don't matter what we say, it don't matter how we make things right, 'cause when I'm with you, yeah, I know everything will be alright.
Okay, when we rode to our accommodation, it was quite a journey, but I thought there could be a cleverer way to get back. So what we've done is we've cut through this resort, and it's cut out like 90% of the ride through the jungle and everything. And we're on the beach now, so we just got to walk like 100 yards down there. To get that 100 yards on the road is about 3 kilometers through the bush. I was lucky right up until I met the Kraken. Okay, another day, another bike ride, and we're going off to Sunset Villas, which is supposed to be on the water. It's supposed to be really lovely. It's $10 cheaper than the place we just was at, which was excellent. But we're just actually doing it for the ride, not so much just to change accommodation. And right now we're going through the jungle to another place, and the road is interesting.
All you left me was the radio. like ooh, yeah, yeah. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through. Yeah, but I can't turn it off 'cause it's the truth. Yeah, it's the truth. And it goes like all you left me was the radio. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. And it goes like ooh, yeah, yeah. When I press play, all I hear is you.
We're heading back to near where the ferry leaves, and Charlie's handlebars are doing something interesting. Show us, Charlie. So it could get exciting when he's trying to go on the downhill.
Okay, g'day. This is Port Lembongan or whatever, and as you can see there's mangroves over there.
Port Lembongan. Yeah.
Port Lembongan. There's mangroves over there. There's some, you know, plantations there, and then the main areas down here. This is where the boats mainly come in. And out here there's a surf break called Shipwreck, and there used to be a wreck out there, and it went away. And then they were bringing in that crane that's out there that you can see, and it wrecked itself. The tug lost it. It also ran up on the rocks as well, the tug, but they got it off. But that crane and the barge that it's on are now shipwrecked, and they're not getting off.
The locals believe that because both the ship crashed there and also that the barge was wrecked there, that it's like a cursed place.
When I press play, all I hear is you. Oh, every single song tells me we're through.
Okay, we rode down to the mangrove forest, and of course we come from Australia, so we've seen lots of mangroves. Okay, we come from Queensland, so we didn't actually go into the mangrove forest, but it was kind of, you know, it's a nice ride, but it's a bit lackluster. So if you wanted to avoid it, that would be okay. If you wanted to go down there, it's nice. The beaches are nice, probably better than the beaches out the front.
I actually really like the ride down here. I thought it was nice and quiet. The road's a little bit rough, but it's really interesting, and there's cool buildings on the way through. See the roof? And then there's the Charlie. And then there's the water.
G'day. Hey, we're extending our visit to Lembongan one more day. We're finding it hard to leave because it's such an oasis of quiet, and it's so beautiful. You know, it's just every time you turn around, there's another thing to see. And even though it's small, it's quiet and it's lovely. And the beaches are so much nicer than Bali. And the people seem really friendly and happy to have you here.
Most of the time the tide isn't this low, so you can't really see that there really are seaweed farms here too. There's heaps of them, and they look really productive. So we're seeing people planting right now, and we're also seeing people harvesting.
What is Nusa Lembongan known for? Well, essentially it has famous surf breaks and also world famous scuba diving and snorkeling sites.
Don't leave me, boy.
We've arrived at Crystal Bay and we're about to go snorkeling.
Charlie couldn't wait for the boat to actually dock, so he just jumped in anyway.
Okay, we just got back from our snorkeling adventure. It was $20 per person, approximately, for Australians, and we went to 3 different sites. So we went to the manta rays, which was excellent, and we saw plenty of manta rays and their majestic, wonderful beings. And I'm so surprised that they hang around while these big lumbering sort of humans are flying around in the water, or flailing around in the water. Then we went to a place called Crystal Cove, which was just very clear water and beautiful visibility, but just some coral. And we were trying to see some turtles, but no turtles turned up, but it was still lovely. And then we went for a drift dive for about 2 kilometers on the end of the island where there was a lot of soft corals and some staghorn corals and things like that, which was very good. PJ had a freak out because, you know, she thought the boat was going to leave without us and all this. So she's like panicking, you know. You'd think she'd be right in there, being the Kraken. She could have just stayed, you know, she's in her element. But I suppose she felt a bit underwhelmed because she wasn't pulling people to their deaths. Okay, so now we're just back at our accommodation, which is lovely. It's so quiet. There's only a little tiny walkway out the front. And we've been here now maybe 5 nights. No, maybe in total since we've been on the island, probably like 6 nights. And we've been the only people here for the whole 6 nights. We're 20 feet from the water and we're like 40 feet from the main road. It's beautiful, and it's $12.50 a night, and I just feel for the family that's here, because family just lives over there. They're nothing but helpful, and you should come and stay here. We'll put the place at the bottom of this video, and you know, you can just walk from the boat to here. It's like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's rated 9 on booking.com, and it should be rated 9. It's a great place.
So just a disclaimer, in the really strange safety briefing we had at the start of the scuba trip, they said that we would meet up at this specific boat that was on a buoy at the end of this drift, and there's quite strong currents here that can suck you out to sea. And unfortunately, most of the group ended up in the deeper water. We were sensible and we went into the shallower coral so we could see everything nice and close, and the current isn't so strong. And so they looks like they might have gone actually past the meeting point. So we got to the meeting point and I'm freaking out because the boat's like well up ahead. It's at least 800 meters further away. And Charlie's like, yeah, she'll be right, she'll be right. I'm thinking of all those TV and
fat man knows.
Online news stories about tourists getting left behind and drowning after snorkeling. So I'm, I think, validly concerned because everyone's boarded the boat and the boat's about to leave and it's like 800-900 meters away off in the distance. I'm waving and they're not acknowledging us or coming back for us. So that was interesting. But in the end, they just waited for us to swim all the way over, thinking that we were just like chilling. And Charlie was just chilling, whereas I was like, hurry up, let's get to the boat before they leave and then we're gonna drown. It was fabulous. Like, the corals here are just beautiful. I didn't take the GoPro in swimming with us, like we were just in the moment, but the fish life, the colorful corals, the soft corals, the clarity of the water, everything was just gorgeous. I really highly recommend it. It cost us 200,000 each, so that's about $20 Australian, less if it's American dollars, you know, under $20 American, and it's absolutely fantastic. So we got a boat tour and we got the snorkeling gear and the trip, and they gave us little sneaky snacks on the way through, including fruit, which I like, and bickies, which Charlie loves. So, and you know, the flippers and everything was included. So lovely guys, and really enjoyed today. It was great. out on the waters today and it was absolute mayhem getting into the ferry terminal. How was getting on board, Charlie?
It was fun. In a slightly scary way.
Light devotion, empty notion.
Oh, we've reached the river and there's a lot of people that are just naked.
Please like and subscribe, and our contact details are in the description. We'd love to meet you. We're currently cycling to Amsterdam. Connect with us now.